habits are boring, which is why we have to focus on the bigger meaning. Hello. Okay, I'm back doing my walk and talk and reflecting on 75 Hard. I have done a few episodes on my journey through 75 Hard, so you can go back in the podcast and listen to that if you're not familiar with it. I talk more about that in the first episode that I did a few back. So today I wanted to talk about, I'm recording this on day 34, so I'm almost halfway through, and I'm bored. I talked about being bored. I don't know if it was on Instagram or what it was a little while ago. And I think that's why we stop. That's why we stop doing things, because we don't think they're working. We are in it for the daily addiction to the adrenaline rush and the intoxicating dopamine hit that we get, adrenal junkie, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, adrenal junkie, adrenaline junkie. We realize that certain emotion, puts off certain chemicals, changes the hormones in the brain, and gives you a feeling. And when you can realize what's happening in your mind and your body and learn how to play the game, which is listening to yourself, consistently doing certain things over again and again and again, and imperfectly, and just becoming 1 degree better every single day, you look back and go, holy shit, I did that. So I have not taken an all or nothing approach to the 75 Hard, or as I'd like to call it, the 75 Emotionally Uncomfortable. Because some days, and yesterday was a great example of this. Yesterday, it was like a euphoric day, and I don't know why, but I was grateful for it. I had my 2 45-minute movements, my water, my reading done, and I was on track with my food. But my movement and my reading and my water intake I didn't complete my water right away, but I was doing great, all by like 11 a.m. And it was interesting. So that's what you call front loading your day, which is, getting the things out of the way that you always have resistance to. And it was funny because yesterday I was talking to a friend and she said, why is everybody posting them walking at night, like in the middle of the night? Is that part of this challenge? And I started laughing and I said to her, no, that's a byproduct of procrastination and resistance. When we tell ourselves, I'll do it later, instead of planning and, working through the emotional resistance that we have around just doing things. So I said the reason why you see so many people walking in the middle of the night or after the sun goes down is because they procrastinated all day. They didn't plan. They did plan, and then they let their stories and their mental resistance get the best of them. I said, that's what happens to me all the time, right? I'm like, I'm human. I teach this stuff, but that's why it's called a challenge. You're supposed to be challenged. But a lot of people won't even start a challenge because they allow their perfectionism to get in the way. And they live their whole life waiting for the perfect moment, for the clouds to part, for the perfect weather, for their children to be a certain age, for their partner to become XYZ, before they give themselves permission to do the things they want to do. So part of the reason why I decided to join this challenge was to challenge my mind. I personally don't spend a lot of time asking myself, why? Why do I have this pattern? I've done years of therapy. I have a degree in social work. I used to be a therapist. And I'm just kind of done talking about my problems. I'm done talking about my challenges. I really live my life through this lens of I just walked by a dead squirrel, by the way, which was completely distracting because my little animal heart was like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Anyways, oh my God. Oh, me and fucking animals. Anyways, I'm walking on the side of the road and it was a little roadkill and I want to take them home and bury them. Anyways, life of animal lover. Now I'm distracted. Fucking squirrel distracted me. Don't even remember what I was saying. Talk about mental toughness challenge. So, talking about my problems. So I'm done talking about it. I think we waste so much time and energy, like hours, years of our lives saying, why, but why, right? Why? And yet, not enough time asking ourselves, what can I do about it? So I'm a huge fan of processing emotion. I'm a huge fan of unpacking trauma. I'm actually a huge fan of therapy when the time is right for it. If you've never talked to anybody before, that's a great place to start. But if you are doing any type of if you are talking about the same issue 10 years later, you need to stop giving your money away and try something else. That's my point. So now in my life, I observe where I'm resisting things and then I run towards them. So I didn't even know why I wanted to do this challenge. I just thought, there's a part of me that doesn't think I'm capable of doing this. And I want to challenge that part of me. I want to challenge the guilt that I still hold, that by putting my needs on my own calendar in any capacity is taking away from other people. And this challenge makes me face that every single day. So being halfway in, I have busted through. So literally like 34 days in, so like a month and a few days into this, I have busted through beliefs and stories that I have held on to for 30 plus years, or at least since I've been a mother, which is 16, almost 17 years. So by just running towards what scares the crap out of you, you can completely change your life in 30 days. It's emotionally uncomfortable, but you can completely change your life in 30 days. And so the funny part is being 34 days in, running towards stories by creating consistent habits has brought up so much awareness within myself. My energy has shifted, my mental clarity. I feel so much better, and it's given me permission to move my body more. I'm actually noticing now that when I'm not doing certain things, my body's like, hey, let's go. It's time to go for a walk. Yesterday, because I front-loaded my movements, I found myself going for a walk at 6 o'clock with my son, and we were talking. And I thought, oh my God, I'm actually getting 3 movements in today because my body is so conditioned to walk around this time. And the beauty is, it's a connected moment. When you're trying to have an emotionally uncomfortable conversation with somebody and you start moving your body, it's easier to talk, especially with boys, because they're so physical and their brains are wired different than the female body, so the female brain. And so walking with my boys has been actually a beautiful way for us to connect. I just walk and they talk and they tell me about their day and blah, blah, blah. So I've been able to confront that story that I tell myself that if I'm doing anything for me, I'm taking away for other people. Because I have more clarity, because I feel more alive, I'm watching how I'm showing up for my family better, for my team, for my clients, having the patience, having the emotional capacity to hold some really, really uncomfortable conversations, to take bigger emotional risks with my goals. And that's what this journey is about. The journey is about getting outside of our comfort zones. So I have found the repetitiveness to be boring, like very boring. But that's truly what it is when you are training for anything. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then you have your race day, or then you improve. And it's the athlete's mindset. And I'm still learning how to identify as an athlete. A lot of the coaches that I have are like, you're an athlete. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not on a team. I'm not it's just so funny how our identity is so wrapped up into our habits and our everyday life. But when you're training for life, when you're training to become a better parent, when you're training to become a better leader, employee, boss, human, you're an athlete. You are training. It's consistent effort and action. So on day 34, I have now debunked my own fear, which was that I'm incapable of doing this. Some days it's really uncomfortable. Some days I still sabotage my action, and I find myself late, squeezing in a walk, or, going to the gym and not trying as much as I should have because I, ran out of energy because I did something else. But I'm a whole hell of a lot further along than if I was choosing not to show up at all. So day 34, knowing that habits are boring. If you're bored, that's a good sign. It's a good sign that you're comfortable. It's a good sign that your brain is getting on board, and you can still challenge yourself. You get to challenge, are you walking a little faster? Are you starting to jog, run and walk? Are you, lifting more weights? Are you what's your challenge? 10 pages too easy for you? Then read 15 pages. 1 degree better every single day. So I highly, highly recommend that you go back and listen to the other 75 Hard podcasts, because you're going to see my energy difference of how nervous I was to start versus how I am now. Talk soon.